We'll move now to Ms. Limya Eltayeb, resident representative of UNDP, to speak on identifying vulnerabilities and assessing risk to enhance digital resilience and meet the SDGs in SIDS.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Minister Nicholas, thank you for the warm welcome, and hopefully it's a cool conversation.
That's a big
And Dr. Lizardo, really thank you for the really holistic approach. It's really eye-opening, and really congratulations to Belize for this approach. No wonder you wanna prize, a global prize. And as I expected, and I told you on the side, you're going to say everything, leaving nothing for me, but I'm going to pivot. I'm going to pivot. So I'm not going to talk about how the digital agenda of the world and of nations and of the region and of SIDS in particular have to be inclusive, resilient, and accessible, which is the theme. I'm going to add a couple words that I want to talk about. One is people, and that's where you started and ended, and I'll start there. The second is around scale. The third is around data. And the fourth is how we adapt as we move forward. And I think what your experience highlighted very clearly is the importance of structuring any digital holistic strategy around people, their current needs, their future aspirations, because digital is a way into the future and hopefully a fast track for many countries and many individuals and families. But also digital in itself is not the goal. Digital is a means to a goal. Digital is how we want to achieve social justice and social equality, to do it more quickly and to address structural problems that we have in governments or in social systems, or structural vulnerabilities even. Digital is a means to address climate change and open up new pathways, whether it's wave energy through digital, or agriculture through digital, or jobs through digital. Digital is a means of addressing climate change in terms of early warning systems and how to be prepared. Digital is a means of reshaping the economy for people, but ensuring that that economy is accessible to those most left behind, and not for the rich that can afford the digital and the internet. So for us, I think we always have to come back to that concept of people. Why do we want digital? 50 years from now, it won't be digital and AI. It will be in a different industrial revolution of some sort. It won't be the industrial or the digital revolution. It'll be a new term, a new phenomena. But it's always around the people. And I think I wanted to start with that because you did it so eloquently, but it's also the part that we sometimes forget. Why are we doing all of these digital transformation strategies? Why are we investing in digital, even though sometimes the infrastructure is expensive? It's because we want to use it as a way so that those that are most left behind and most vulnerable have access to services, have access to courts, so that court backlogs are addressed, so that police case management is digitalized. And these are some of the things that UNDP has been supporting governments. Governments have taken incredible strides in the Caribbean in these areas, and UNDP has supported. We've supported police case management. We've supported judicial case management and backlog. We've supported digital ID for some governments. We've supported digital literacy in some countries. We've supported digital literacy specifically for the elderly in some countries. And these are some of the things that are happening here in the Caribbean, in SIDS, throughout the countries that you represent in this room. So that's the people. The scale is important. One of the issues with investments around digital is that a lot of SIDS are small in scale. And so the market case becomes an issue. And I think here again, we have to go back to why we are doing it. The ethics and the trust behind why we are doing it. So you're asking me about vulnerabilities. I'm talking about both at the same time. Why are we making these large investments, even though it's a small scale market? And how can we find a way to address that issue? And that is a real issue. Because if the market is not going to make the case for those investments. And here I want to introduce the concept of the public sector can't do it alone, the private sector can do it. It is very much a partnership between public and private for a whole of society solution. And it's an interdependency between the public and the private. So the public sector has to make sure the regulations and the frameworks are there, the policy frameworks, all the incentives are there. The private sector also has to see where the benefits come from for them. And we have to use that to leverage new jobs, green jobs, blue jobs, jobs of the future. That entails another vulnerability under it, capacities. Capacities and skills to be able to ensure that those jobs are jobs for your country, your youth, your people that we started with. And so this is the second thing. How do we make the issue of scale, and how do we address it, and how do we discuss it and unpack it, and what sort of solutions can we come across? The third thing I wanted to say is data. And as you can imagine, for us, working in development and in UNDP and the UN, data is crucial. Because if we're going to make the digital revolution work for the poor and most vulnerable, we need to have the data. We need to know where they are. We need to know what it is they're not accessing. But technology offers this incredible platform. Big data, open data, public goods, public sources, crowd data, crowd information, crowd financing. I mean, we've never lived in a time with such opportunities in front of us. How do we leverage them? But at the same time, coming back to the trust and the ethics, how do we ensure that there's security and protection as we're leveraging them, so that people's personal data is not out there? How do we ensure that we're using that data for those most needy and not for the biggest hotel tourism company out there, which could pay for it and doesn't need government subsidy and government leverages and government incentives? And so how do we sort some of those questions as we are addressing this? Data is incredibly important for all of the development work that the UN, UNDP, and private sector and whole of society invest in. It is the only way to have informed policy is to build on the data. And then how do we make all of this accessible? How do we make it affordable? How do we make it accurate? And how do we make it innovative? And I think there are many examples around the world. In UNDP, we're very fortunate for the Caribbean. We have an innovation lab in Barbados that serves the Eastern Caribbean. We've done some very innovative, there's the Dominica Online Work Program, where more than 75 youth, through just one call, were able to find jobs online because of the digital skills and the branding and the marketing that was open from their homes in Dominica, working for companies globally. Barbados, the welcome stamp, look how successful that was during COVID, allowing people who want to work online to come into Barbados and work from the beauty of the beach everywhere around the world. 3D printing and how we can use that for persons with disabilities and children with disabilities in education. 360 cameras, we're using virtual reality through our innovation lab to create experiences with diving with whales outside Dominica. One, as a tourism brand, two, for persons with disabilities who can't dive. We're doing Kalinago virtual trails up in the mountains for those who cannot access the trails because of disability, but also promoting the Kalinago brand. It is limitless what we can do. And I will end on a positive note by saying, I don't think we have ever been richer than we are today. I don't think we have ever been more interconnected in how we can share our lessons learned and experiences today. I don't think we have had an era where public goods are so accessible. Almost all of the projects that I just named that UNDP has supported, we have made the digital good a public good. It's called Digital X. It's online. The police case management that we launched in 7 countries is available online. We've had other countries coming to us saying, okay, let's contextualize this. It's free, it's there. The same we're going to do with the judiciary, the judicial backlogging, the digital one that we're currently working on. It will be publicly available. The countries that were not part of the program can download it, contextualize it, and we can help contextualize it at a mere cost of the original cost of creating. So we are in an era of access to information, and you were talking about the knowledge economy. Access to information is phenomenal because of the digital revolution. But how do we use that information, make it accessible, make it affordable, and make it within reach? I'll stop there, but thank you, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. And we'll open the floor for questions. Yes, Nia, you have a question? Just actually, if we can keep one of these mics. Yes, roving, please.
Good afternoon. Nia Nanan, Senior Research Analyst at the CTU, and congratulations on your highly successful projects across the region. I had one question under the theme of promoting inclusivity. Are there any key learning lessons that you can share with us in promoting digital literacy, particularly among populations such as the elderly that may be very averse to change, where there's a situation nationally where there's low public trust in government institutions?
Sure.
Hello. So yeah, I mean, we have some really good examples about for digital literacy. I think Dominican Republic and Belize have some examples. And the beauty is we can draw on those examples that are examples of the member states. We are just the catalytic supporter in the space and a transfer of information and technology. There has to be a real movement and an awareness raising about the opportunities, not just general awareness and raising about, you know, how important it is. It's really about advocating what opportunities are out there and making sure that there is an awareness of what can be done. Bless you. I think that in itself will ensure that there is an engagement of all ages, all spheres, all walks of life, because it opens up doors. And I don't think we've done enough of that awareness. We speak to ourselves. But have we showcased some of these fantastic examples, these successes, and made them available and made the technology available and the learning available so that it's quicker and easier? Have we gone out there and really publicized what the gains are for the farmer when they have early warning on their mobile, especially in a region that is this volatile and exposed? Have we done enough of those awareness? And you will find that I hate using it because I'm older. The more mature farmers will probably be the first, because they realize the damage it can do to all of their investments and their crops. Having said that, I think there's a huge opportunity in youth. They are the innovators, they are the app developers. And what I really hope will happen is that SIDS will not be consumers of the digital technologies, but actual producers of new products and new innovations. And I think it's not possible to de-link digital and innovation.
Thank you very much.